So we're going to do top 5 worst January transfer signings.
There are a few going back, so you have to cast your minds back.
Done. I'm there.
All right?
I'm in the
start
zone.
off with one of my own, one of our own. Andy Carroll to Liverpool.
Shocker.
Okay, we'll talk about them afterwards. You got Fernando Torres to Chelsea.
Shocker.
Christopher Samba to QPR. It's got a bit of depth, that one. You need to know context behind that.
Okay.
Other notable ones, or non-notable, Kostas Mitroglou to Fulham. Badu and Dye to Stoke. Juan Cuadrado to Chelsea. 2015. Kamaldeen Sulemana to Southampton, but my favourite of the lot is Dele Alli to Everton in 2022.
Oh, it's such a shame, isn't it? Now you know the context of the whole story with Dele Alli.
Yeah, it is.
Okay, so number 5, who's in there?
I'm going...
I think I know my number 1.
Yeah, I probably do as well. I'd say number 5, just for the context, would be Samba to QPR. And the reason is they spent £12.5 million for him from Anzi Mashashkala.
Manja, good to find. Do you remember when that was a thing, by the way?
What?
Everyone was going to Russia.
Yeah. Roberto Carlos ended up at Anzi Mashashkala.
Isn't it pronounced Angie? Isn't that why it didn't work out? Because no one knew what Zs and Js were.
I'm not Russian. What was that?
Yeah, take your time.
What?
You're not Russian.
£12.5 million they signed him for. Guess his wage. This is in 2013. Christopher Samba.
25 grand a week.
£100,000 a week.
Illegal.
At QPR. Harry Redknapp's side were ultimately relegated in 20th place, and Samba went back to Anzi.
Angie. Okay, who we having at number 4? I'm happy with that.
Happy with that? Let's go. Let's discuss this Cuadrado deal.
I think Cuadrado is a really good player, and I actually think in the context now, 26 million quid is a fair signing. I know he didn't perform at Chelsea, that's the problem, but he did at Fiorentina and he did at Juve. He was good at Juve as well.
Let me speak.
Okay, sorry.
Do you know the kicker?
My turn.
The kicker for me.
Yeah.
Mo Salah went the other way. So you think everyone calls him a Chelsea flop and all that sort of thing. The knock-on effect for me as a Liverpool fan, they get rid of him for Cuadrado. A couple of years later, we go and sign him. The rest is history.
But would Salah have been the player that he is now if he hadn't had that knockback where he wasn't feeling wanted at a club and then had to prove himself somewhere else? We don't know.
No. But that's what we're here to discuss.
The football butterfly effect right there.
Yeah, so 5 and 4.
Yeah, okay.
Okay, I want to make a case for, and it is sad, I want to make a case for the Dele Alli to Everton.
The Dele Everton to Ali. Yeah, I think the whole situation is really sad. It makes me uncomfortable putting him in there. I also feel like the player that they thought they were signing would have been worth £100 million. Right. You think about Dele Alli's career, fantastic at MK Dons in terms of a breakthrough season. Spurs, have we ever seen a youngster hit the ground running in the Premier League like Dele Alli?
There's also, what's interesting is when we come on to the top 5, his transfer from MK Dons to Spurs could also potentially be in that list. So how crazy is it that across the span of a player's career that you could have a transfer,
the best and worst?
Right, it's incredible. Wow. So the context for me of this was that fee for Dele Alli could have ended up being upwards of £40 million, which I think at the time no one would have really batted an eyelid at.
No, Alex Iwobi went for the same price to Everton.
Don't get me started on that. But because of lack of game time, struggling for fitness, obviously injuries played a big part in his career sort of all the way through.
And mental health.
It didn't even reach 10 million because of the nature of those add-ons. And he left on a free. So, 10 million to a free isn't actually that much of a loss for Everton from a business point of view.
In terms of the promise and what actually happened, I think it's reasonable to say he's in that top 5, and number 3 is fine for me.
Which is a shame because we like Dele Alli.
I love Dele Alli.
He did have a fantastic career, one of the biggest breakthroughs you've ever seen.
Nasty as well, loved it.
Got a bit about him, and then it just sort of all petered out for him, which is a shame.
Yeah. Number 2.
Men get sad too. Okay, let's talk about the top 2 then. Because you got Fernando Torres, Liverpool to Chelsea, Andy Carroll, Newcastle to Liverpool.
I'm having Torres number 2, Andy Carroll number 1.
I don't disagree.
What happens mentally? Because it wasn't a physical thing, but it did look like he lost a yard of pace when he moved. That can't happen in the space of 3 months because he was ripping it up at Liverpool. How do you go from, and it's, again, confidence is a huge factor in probably a lot of these transfers. How do you go from the level of player that you were at Liverpool, move to Chelsea and be that bad?
I'll be really controversial. Maybe not so. Going from Liverpool and the way that the fans receive you and the whole club as a general, especially at that time, it was very much, we didn't have these superstars. He came in and was adored.
He was a god.
He was a god for us. I had my email addresses, Fernando Torres, the background on my phone, everything. You then go to Chelsea, even back then, 2011, probably especially back then, you're just a number.
I think Torres can just about scrape being number 2 rather than number 1 because winning a Champions League, scoring an important goal in the build-up or in the lead-up to the final as well. I'm having number 1, Andy Carroll.
Disgrace.
£35 million.
Again in 2011.
I'll tell you something about Andy Carroll right now that might shock you. What a player. On his day, Andy Carroll is unplayable.
Head in the air.
Still going.
He scored a few for us. Yeah,
He's still going right now.
Where is he? He's really lower league though. Isn't
Really
he?
low.
Local to somewhere in Newcastle.
Yeah.
Can't think of who it is.
Almost stupid.
But
Fair play to him.
Yeah.
Because I don't think he's even collecting a wage for it.
No, he's not. He's playing for free.
Liverpool went through an unbelievable phase of just signing nonsense. The amount of players I'd see Liverpool sign. I used to laugh at you. Okay, so that's our top 5 worst. And I think we can agree on those players. Obviously, in the comments, get in the comments. Let us know if there's anyone else that we haven't thought of. Probably the more controversial list is going to be the top 5 best players signed in January transfer windows.
I'm going to give you some names before my personal shortlist.
Okay,
feel free to
chuck some names at me. I want to see names. I want to see figures. I want to see my emotions being toyed with. Carry on.
Mikel Arteta, Sociedad to Arsenal.
Great manager.
Aubameyang, Dortmund to Arsenal.
Terrible hair.
Gary Cahill, Bolton to Chelsea.
Plain face.
Ashley Cole.
Cashley Cole,
the big one, probably one of the most controversial of all time. Seamus Coleman, I think it's a shame because
it's a
Seamus Coleman. He's never going to get in. He's never going to get into these lists. But what a stalwart for Everton.
It cost absolutely nothing.
No, and a loyal servant to the club.
Good player.
Philippe Coutinho,
gay.
Now.
As a rumour, I don't know if that's true.
That in terms of business, to take him from how much we spent for him at Inter to how much we sold him for,
huge. And
for the actual signing and how well he did to transfer to Liverpool.
And I'll tell you what, right, about Philippe Coutinho. I remember when Coutinho was coming through at Liverpool as well, when he was just starting to break into the first team and get a bit of minutes. We were bringing through Adnan Januzaj as well. And I remember the conversation about Januzaj versus Coutinho, and I'd have taken Januzaj 1 million times out of a million over Coutinho. What do I know anything about football? Coutinho was a phenomenal player for Liverpool, fair play.
Jermaine Defoe, Luis Diaz, Edin Dzeko, Ivanovic to Chelsea. That's a huge one.
Yeah, he's big boned
for what he did for Chelsea. Nemanja Matic.
Love Matic.
Kieran Trippier. Don't know why he's in that list. And then I'll move on to the ones that I think should be in this list.
Okay, go on.
Patrice Evra and Nemanja Vidic.
Legends.
Bruno Fernandes.
Legend.
Bruno Guimaraes.
What a player.
Luis Suarez.
Hate him.
Virgil van Dijk. So there's 6 there that I want us to try and narrow down to 5.
I'm going to tell you some players that I want in there 100%. I want to see Vidic in there.
Yes.
I want to see Van Dijk in there.
Has to be.
I want to see Bruno Fernandes in there.
Let you have it.
I think Ivanovic is a cracking signing, but do I want him in there? No. I think Matic was a cracking signing. Do I want him in there? No.
Guimaraes?
Bruno Guimaraes, I think for what he's done for Newcastle in terms of getting them to a point where they can win a trophy, which they haven't done, I think he's got to be in there. I'm having Fernandes, I'm having Van Dijk, I'm having Vidic, I'm having Bruno Guimaraes.
So we've basically got Evra, Suarez to knock one of those out.
I might have to knock Guimaraes out for Suarez. All right, I'm having Fernandes, Suarez, Van Dijk, I'm having Vidic, and I'm having either Evra or Ashley Cole. I'll let you make that decision.
I hate it, but I'm going Evra.
As a United fan, I'm comparing the two players and who was the best left back, and I think Ashley Cole.
Yes. Yeah.
But whatever one.
Just to rein it back in about the best signing, you've got to take that contextually with the whole club. Evra did more for and at United than Cole did at Chelsea.
Cole won the Champions League, won 2-3 Premier Leagues, I think.
Evra won 2 Champions League, didn't he?
1 Champions League in 2008.
And about 65 league titles.
Probably about 4 or 5 league titles. I'm going to take my bias hat off. I'm going to go with Ashley Cole.
Okay. Well, you've let me have Suarez and Van Dijk in that list.
Okay. So, who's number 5?
I will say Luis Suarez.
Luis Suarez. I'll agree with that. Number 4.
Bruno Fernandes.
Number 3.
Evra.
I'll go Van Dijk at number 3. Number 2.
Vidic.
I'll go Ashley Cole, and number 1 I'll go Vidic. Put my biased Man United hat straight back on.
I go Van Dijk at number 1 from a bias hat straight back on.
Van Dijk over Vidic?
Yeah.
Are you alright?
Yeah. Nemanja Vidic, who played alongside the likes of... No. The Evras, the Ferdinands. Was Gary Neville still knocking about, or was it the Raphaels? And so you got... Gary. For me, you put... Not anyone, because Vidic was fantastic, and I do feel like he is underrated.
2-time Player of the Year.
Yeah, I also...
You think about players that win Premier League Player of the Year. We're talking Henry. We're talking Wayne Rooney.
Mo Salah.
Nemanja Vidic, 2-time Premier League
that shouldn't be overlooked.
Player of the Year.
Vidic is the only player I can think of right now that is both equally underrated and overrated. As a Liverpool fan, we think it's hilarious because the myth of Torres used to...
And it is a myth.
Dog.
It is a myth, Brand.
Right.
Scored like 3 goals in 15 games against him.
Yeah, took him to the cleaners. With us, Van Dijk completely changed Liverpool and
yes,
then went
but
on
take into context the amount you had to pay to get that. I think if we're looking at January transfers, we're not comparing just the player and how good the player was. How much was Vidic? How much was Van Dijk? You'd have got 4 Vidics for the price of Van Dijk. You got exactly the same level of player out of Vidic. I'm going Vidic number 1. You should agree.
Vidic.
Let us know in the comments.